All right, you're looking live at ExactTrack 4D radar. Parts of southeastern Michigan remain under a severe thunderstorm watch.
Now, take a look at this time-lapse video from one of our sky cams. The sun quickly replaced by clouds and rain as the storm moved through downtown Detroit.
We're also getting a look at some of the damage for this afternoon's storm. Take a look at this tree that uprooted and collapsed on a home in Plymouth. Thanks for being with us here for the news at 6 o'clock. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez in for Devin tonight. Let's get right over to 4-1 meteorologist Kim Adams. Kim, things are clearing up, but we're not out of the woods just yet.
Not quite, but there are parts of Metro Detroit that's seeing some sunshine. Even here in downtown Detroit, it's hard to believe just an hour or so ago we had a severe thunderstorm move through because it's nice and quiet, and you can tell by the river that was really moving along this afternoon. It's now calmed down a bit. 77 in Detroit, upper 70s in Howell, 75 in Pontiac, and 77 in Adrian. ExactTrack 4D radar, nice and quiet here in our immediate area. We've got a little area of rain just to the north of Adrian, but I know some of you do watch us in parts of Ohio, especially Toledo. So I want to alert you to let you know there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. It's right over Perrysburg now. So if you travel I-75 anywhere from Toledo down to Bowling Green, you want to be aware that this is a severe thunderstorm warning. So it's not in the immediate Metro Detroit area, but we do have some viewers in Toledo. So I want to make sure that you're aware that there is some severe weather continuing down to our south. Our main threat today was really high winds and also significant hail reports, 2.5-inch diameter in Davison, Ypsilanti 2 inches, Mount Clemens 1.75 inches. To put that in perspective for you, the size of hail goes anywhere from a pea, which is 1/4 inch, all the way up to softball, which is 4 inches. So we were right around golf ball to tennis ball size hail this afternoon. Did cause some damage. Now tonight we are looking for quieter weather, although there are still parts of Metro Detroit. Actually, I think they're just now expiring the severe thunderstorm watch for all of Metro Detroit. So we're pretty much in the clear tonight. I'll still be in the Weather Center tracking if anything develops, but right now it looks pretty good. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest weather warnings, today was a good chance to get that 4Warn Weather app, but you still have time. Just go to your favorite app store and type in WDIV.
All right, Kim, we'll see you in a few minutes. There's new fallout, political fallout from the recent charges in Michigan's fake elector investigation. Another Republican who's been charged is speaking out right now.
The Secretary of State just stripped Stanley Grott of all his election-related duties as Shelby Township clerk. Paula Tutman caught up with him soon after. And Paula, what's the clerk saying about all of this?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to say that these are really fast-moving developments, and they really could signal the falling of some pretty big dominoes for Stan Grott. This afternoon, in a phone conversation with Stan Grott, the Shelby Township clerk for the last decade. Can I put you on the record, and may I record our conversation?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Grott responds to being stripped of his duties as clerk to administer, oversee, or participate in municipal elections until further notice.
I intend to abide by the instruction.
1,600 municipal clerks in the state of Michigan, and it has only happened 10 times for the most egregious behaviors that threaten the sanctity of the vote during the tenure of Jocelyn Benson. Today, the Michigan Department of State and the Secretary of State's office stripped Shelby Township clerk Stan Grott of any duties relating to elections. The letter issued to Grott this morning lists the 7 felony charges levied against Grott and 15 other Michiganders for alleged election fraud that amount to up to 80 years in prison if convicted of an alleged fake electors scheme to steal Michigan's votes from Joe Biden and to illegally give them to Donald Trump in the 2020 election.
I have done nothing wrong, and I intend to prove that in court.
The letter stating that the charges fundamentally undermine voter confidence in the integrity of elections. Therefore, in order to ensure public trust and confidence in the integrity and security of elections, the letter goes on to say, I am instructing you to refrain from administering any elections held in Shelby Township while these charges are pending against you.
And obviously you want public officials that are honest in trying to do the best for the people of the district, not themselves.
The main job of an elected clerk is to protect the sanctity of the vote. Clerks take an oath to uphold the Constitution and to pledge an allegiance to the voting process, whether they agree with the outcome or not.
Well, it's deeply concerning because this does involve the results of an election that we as election folks administered here in the state of Michigan.
The domino effect goes straight to credibility and Grott, who oversaw previous elections. Chris Swope is the Lansing clerk and former president of the Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks, which will be meeting next week to discuss stripping Grott of his membership and privileges.
I think it is a good idea to take a moment and review actions that he may have taken, decisions that he may have made.
Yeah, you know, in the final analysis, this raises questions for people, and it means that some are at least showing interest in questioning some of the elections that Grott administered in the past. Not so much, and this is important, not so much as to say that anything he may or may not have done could have changed the final outcome of elections, but they do want to look into some of his past practices in administering some of those elections. By the way, the new deputy clerk of Shelby Township has been named as interim clerk. There are no elections right now, not until 2024, but that is the person who will administer any of the elections until further notice, guys.
Yeah, so many layers to this story. Paula, we appreciate your update. A power problem is creating a medical emergency for an East Point man.
Yeah, he simply can no longer stay in his family's home because the machines used to keep him alive aren't getting enough power. Help Me Hank got involved and learned it was a repair DTE needed to make. Our consumer investigator Hank Winchester reports from East Point.
And as you can imagine, DeMond and Kimberly, this is a very frustrating situation for all involved, especially that family and that young man that needs that critical machine in order to stay in the home. Tonight, thanks to the good work by DTE crews, we're happy to report that problem has finally been fixed. Teresa Todd is worried sick about her son Ronnie, seen here in these photos.
I have to give him kudos. He's been a trooper about it overall, but in the same respect, he cries every day. He wants to come home.
Ronnie is battling MS, but he's been fortunate to get care from loved ones at the family's East Point home. That was until May, when the house simply couldn't power his oxygen anymore. The family was forced to move Ronnie to a nursing home.
He wants nothing more than to be home with his family and his nieces and nephews and friends, and to be, based on the treatment he's getting there, that's all he does is cry. He wants to come home. And we want him home too.
So what exactly was causing this issue? Well, we learned it was affecting a few homes in this area. People have been calling DTE. This family hired electricians. They were working to figure this thing out. They just couldn't.
The electrician that I had out here the last time spoke with her directly and told her it is not the wiring in the house. It has to be outside. And they did find that we were not getting enough voltage from the pole to the house.
They say DTE started investigating in May, and DTE confirms to me that they've been trying to figure out what's wrong. Yesterday, as we were here, DTE crews arrived, and today, when I followed up again, I received this statement, quote, "We were made aware of a low voltage issue with a DTE customer in East Point. Our field crews and engineers have been investigating the issue and, most recently, walked the circuit to determine any additional underlying issues. We were able to make a repair the same day that our team walked the circuit and consequently restored the customer to full voltage. Now, after more than 2 months, Ronnie can come home." So this is all really good news. The family, as you can imagine, though, they want to take some time before bringing him from that nursing home back to the home in East Point. They want to test the system, make sure everything is a go. But DT assures us not only has the fix been made as of yesterday, but extra work will be done within the coming week to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. We're live here downtown at DTE headquarters. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank. Local 4.
All right. Thanks, Hank.
A new state law allows alcohol sales at college sporting events across the state. The move brings Michigan universities on equal footing with those in other states. Hobie Artigue live outside the big house in Ann Arbor, where the process is still playing out. Hobie.
Yes, the universities here in Michigan have been given the okay to sell alcohol inside stadiums, but there's still a long ways to go, with procedures and plans now being put in place to make it happen here at stadiums like this one at the U of M. With Governor Gretchen Whitmer signing off on alcohol licenses in college stadiums, there's a big decision coming to places like the Big House. Michigan and Michigan State now deciding on what that future for fans will look like.
We're taking our time. There's not a need to rush into this right now.
It's legislation the U of M expected, but still coming up with a game plan on how to make it all work.
Fans who are supportive, fans who like the no alcohol policy that we have now. If we did it, what protocols need to be in place, what additional staffing might be required. There are just lots of things to consider.
Fans we spoke with on board with allowing booze.
I'm looking forward to it. Maybe this is a good idea.
Larry and Marcia Swinky have season tickets to football, basketball, and hockey, places alcohol is approved to be sold.
Probably should have been enacted a long time ago because you knew eventually that they were going to do it. It'll probably be pretty expensive. I'd say go for it.
Fans are fans of the alcohol idea, but in moderation.
Some of the people have no problems with alcohol, but you have that element that it might entice them to be a little rowdy.
It's going to be kind of hard if it doesn't work to take it back. So we want to be sure, we've dotted our I's and crossed all of our T's.
A sentiment also shared by the university ahead of a game-changing decision.
The last thing we want to do is rush a decision and then find that there's a kink somewhere along the way that we would have to change plans. We prefer to think through the long game, if you will.
And you mentioned getting on equal footing with other teams in the conference. 11 of the other 12 Big Ten schools allow alcohol sales inside of their football stadiums. Nebraska, the only exception. We'll see just how fast things can get done, though. Fans are the ones playing the waiting game, waiting just to see if this is going to happen in time for the fall. The first game here, by the way, at Michigan Stadium, coming up on September 2nd. We're live tonight in Ann Arbor. Hobie Artigue, Local 4.
That is right around the corner. Okay, Hobie, we appreciate your report tonight. Detroit's Rocket Companies is offering buyouts to some employees. The company is offering what it calls career transition incentives that include 3 to 6 months pay and other severance options. Employees have until Wednesday to decide if they'll accept the offer. Those who do will end their employment August 11th.
Well, in about 20 minutes, NBC Nightly News is taking you a half world away where the U.S. women's soccer team is aiming for a third consecutive World Cup championship. But it won't be easy.
I'm NBC's Molly Hunter, and we are in Auckland, New Zealand today. Take a look at that view along with Sydney, Australia. These are the two main host cities for the Women's World Cup. We will have all the details, of course, about the tournament, also about the defending champs, the U.S. women's national team, coming up on Nightly News.